The Lord be with you, and with your spirit. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Glory to you, O Lord. On a Sabbath, Jesus went to dine at the home of one of the leading Pharisees, and the people there were observing him carefully. He told a parable to those who had been invited, noticing how they were choosing places of honor at the table. When you are invited by someone to a wedding banquet, do not recline at table in the place of honor. A more distinguished guest than you may have been invited by him, and the host, who invited both of you, may approach you and say, "Give your place to this man," and then you would proceed with embarrassment to take the lowest place. Rather, when you are invited, go and take the lowest place, so that when the host comes to you, he may say, "My friend, move up to a higher position." Then you will enjoy the esteem of your companions at the table. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, but the one who humbles himself will be exalted. Then he said to the host who invited him, "When you hold a lunch or a dinner, do not invite your friends or your brothers or your relatives or your wealthy neighbors, in case they may invite you back and you have repayment. Rather, when you hold a banquet, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind. Blessed indeed will you be because of their inability to repay you, for you will be repaid at the resurrection of the righteous." The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Several years ago now, the St. Petersburg Times published a story about the legendary Miami Dolphins coach, Don Shula. He was on vacation with his family in a small town in Maine. One rainy afternoon, Coach Shula, his wife, and their 5 children decided to go to a matinee movie at the town's only theater. When they arrived, the house lights were still on, and Coach Shula noticed that there were only a handful of people there. As he and his family walked in, everyone turned around, stood up, and cheered. As they took their seats, Coach Shula turned to his wife and said, "We're about 1,500 miles from home, and they're giving me a standing ovation. They must get the Dolphins on TV all the way up here." Then a man approached him with a huge smile and shook his hand. Shula beamed and asked, "How did you recognize me?" The man said, "I have no idea who you are. All I know is that just before you and your family walked in, the manager told us he wouldn't show the movie today unless 4 more people showed up." This story illustrates a key teaching from today's readings. Our Christian commitment calls us to be humble, just as Don Shula exemplified in sharing this story. Here was a man whose reputation extended across the nation, not only as a great coach, but also a good person. It was only natural for him to assume that the man who approached him recognized him. When it turned out that he didn't, Coach Shula was the first to laugh at himself. In fact, he enjoyed the incident so much that he shared it with others. Only a truly humble person would do something like that. And this raises an important question for us. What exactly is humility? Does it mean that we undervalue ourselves? Does it mean thinking little of ourselves? Does it mean denying our true worth? Not at all. Humility is something more profound and beautiful. It isn't thinking little of ourselves. It's about not thinking of ourselves at all. In its most profound and beautiful sense, humility means to be like Jesus, who said in Matthew's Gospel, "Learn from me, for I am meek and humble of heart." It means to follow Jesus, who taught, "The Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve."